I want to show you how to clear a misfeed if you do have a paper jam in the machine. One of the nice things with today's copier and printers is there aren't a million different places where you're looking for the misfed paper. Paper doesn't travel at all through the center portion of the machine. It's always coming out of the paper drawers and coming right up through this side of the machine, and then it's out. So if you do have a misfeed, what you're going to do is you're going to come right over here, and there's this little gray latch, and when I press in on that, it allows the machine to open. Now when it opens, there's a couple of places where you might have a paper misfeed, and if you're making a multiple page job, you might have a couple of different pieces of paper. So I want to show you the possible hiding places where you might find that misfed paper. First of all, down here at the bottom, you'll notice that there's a little green tab. Usually you would see the piece of paper, and if you have access to grabbing the top edge, you want to go ahead and just carefully guide the paper the rest of the way out until it's cleared the machine. Sometimes it makes it easier if you lift up on this tab. It can take the tension off the paper and just make it a little bit easier to remove. The most common place where you're going to have a misfeed is when the paper goes into the fusing system, and the fusing system is this section here. And if you do have a misfeed here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to see the piece of paper here, and you pull back on this green tab, and it's going to give you access to the paper. And when it's in this section, you might see it crunched up almost like an accordion. You want to grab the leading edge of the paper if possible and just carefully pull it out. You don't want to jerk it out in one swift motion. Just carefully pull the paper out, and once you pulled it out, you simply release the lever. It'll lower back down in place, and you should be ready to go. Now, if you don't have an optional stapling unit, that's the only areas where a paper jam could potentially be. If you do have an automatic stapling unit, we're going to kind of switch the focus over around the machine here, because you can also have the paper travel all the way through to where it gets stapled. When that's the case, you can potentially have a paper misfeed in this area here, where you lift up on this section, and the paper, if it's here, it's really just going to be stranded. It's not going to be all crunched up. It's simply a matter of grabbing the paper and removing it from the machine. And then you want to just go ahead and lower that back down. And one of the things I want to note is when you lift it up, it holds in place. And to release it back down, you want to move it just a little bit to your left, which allows it to settle back in place. Again, with the automatic stapling finishers, you also have the potential to open this drawer, and there's little bi-directional knobs, and you can roll the knob in either direction, really the path of least resistance, just to release the misfeed so that you can grab it and pull it the rest of the way out of the machine. Once you've cleared the misfeed, you simply close the door. The machine will recycle. If you've left a part open, as we have in this case, it will show you on the LCD display that there's a part of the machine that's still open. To close that, you bring this and you want to just bring it carefully closed, and there's a handprint about halfway up on the machine. That's where you want to put the base of your hand and just put a gentle pressure to close the machine. It's going to go ahead and recycle. It'll take 15 or 20 seconds, and then the machine's ready to go, and you can be on with your copying and printing.